Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, firstly?
Well, I've been a professional filmmaker in the film and television industry for maybe 20 years now. And although I haven't lived in the area until about 12 years ago, I found it delightful to come down here, and I found a great interest in the Kent area and in the southeast, and it's full of interesting subjects that I'd like to turn my, if you like, my professional eye to, and that's one of the reasons. I now live in Faversham, which is quite close to here, and I've now looking to make more films of a historical nature. And that's, in fact, one of the last film we made, which was called A Sideways Launch, which was about a shipyard that existed in Faversham from 1916 to 1970, was a fantastic subject to get hold of, and it involved the community, which is superb.
Can you tell us more about this film we've been promoting today?
Yes, well, I'm currently editing the film. Is called The Dream of Flight. And it's a film on aviation that really chronicles the events that took place on Sheppey in 1909, 100 years ago this year, when Moore Brabazon became the first Briton to fly on British soil. He did this at Laysdown on the Isle of Sheppey, and not many people know that.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is. And the film tells the story of the first flight, and it will allow the public the access to the heritage of Britain's pioneering aviators and expose them to their own history, both from a local and a national perspective. So I think it's going to make quite an impact down here.
So, Michael, why did you decide to make this film?
Well, we'd finished the previous film in December, and we put it out in the Royal Cinema in Faversham. It went down very well. And John Kerry, who is the writer and editor of that film, and we were actually at Elmley, doing a bit of bird watching in January of this year, and we were just looking around for something that was of local history, and we just happened upon the events of 1909 that took place in Sheppey. We were just looking at some birds flying, and then we suddenly thought, hey, this is one of the birthplace. This is the birthplace of aviation. Let's look at it a bit closer. So Swell Borough Council were planning Sky 2009 at the time, and that was to celebrate the anniversary, and that really was the beginning of our interest and our research. So, and then of course the celebrations took place at Laysdown in May, and then later in July at Eastchurch. So that really gave us the motivation to take this further. So it became a real project then. So that's the reason.
What is the format for this film?
Well, The Dream of Flight really puts the events of 1909 in a historical context. It uses a famous photograph which is called The Founding Fathers, which was taken at Laysdown as a springboard to explore the work of the Wright brothers, really, and show how it's developed on Sheppey by the Short brothers and by the brave pioneers who flew their planes, Moore Brabazon, Giles Rolls, Cecil Grace, and many others. And the film then includes the celebrations that took place at Laysdown in May, and also at Eastchurch, including all the flypasts, the audience reactions, and fresh interviews, again with Brabazon's grandson, Faith Winter, who's spent many years in her childhood at Muswell Manor. And this new material is now being edited with archival footage to create the final product. So the film will not only be informative and historically accurate, but as entertaining and as accessible as we can possibly make it.